all, just apologies and condolences on your loss. You know, what was it like just kind of having your dad at your side, you know, through your head coaching journey?
Yeah, thank you. You know, I'm gonna address that up there. You know, like just because otherwise I'll just get too many times. I don't want to just be short. You know, because that's not. You always said do your job. You know, and my job here is today to represent Ole Miss as the head coach, and so I appreciate you saying that. I'll touch on that briefly up there, but we're excited about this season coming up, and you know, our guys have done a really good job this summer and working hard, and it's an exciting time and great schedule, and just ready to keep working, and just excited about our opportunity and our collection of players, and we got a long ways to go.
Lane, David Edelstein from WJTV in Jackson. Again, just want to say condolences for your father, but a lot of changes to your roster this coming year. What is the biggest way you expect your team to be different on the field this coming season?
Well, I don't deal a whole lot in expecting, things exactly to happen, because they don't really go that way, and it's more just about the process of daily work with our players and getting them better. And I do think we have a really good collection of players that decided to return, including all three that are here today, that had a chance to, go to the pros, and then they were able to add some really intriguing portal pieces to that. But again, there's a lot of work to do, and all those expectations and stuff out there, those mean nothing. As Coach Saban used to say, that's just truly the rat poison extent, especially in a preseason, for that to seep in. And there's been plenty of teams not ranked high that end up high, and plenty of high-ranked teams that end up low. So that really does nothing to do with the outcome. There's so much process and work to do in between.
Yeah, Lane, you mentioned the expectations. You've been part of a team that had really high expectations back in 2012 at USC. What did you learn from that experience? I think this is going to be the second time that you've probably coached a preseason top 10 team.
That was, I think, a different situation, because that truly was rat poison of where we really shouldn't have been, due to scholarship limitations and how low our roster was. But you still want to learn from every obstacle that happens in your life, and so I think we probably leaned into that too much at the time. Matt Barkley was coming back, and that was made a big deal in preseason number one after a strong finish the year before, and kind of embraced that and leaned into that. Probably it didn't work, so as you look back and say, well, probably shouldn't have, and resisted that more, because it really, as I said now, however many years later, it really doesn't mean anything.
What do you think of the defensive line with, the guys that you've picked up with Walter and Mielen and guys coming back? How much of a step forward do you think that unit could make this year?
Yeah, I think that could be a really exciting part. We've played some good defense here at times, and had good D-line play. I don't know that anybody would say we've been dominant. Maybe a game here or there, but for a continued amount of time, and there is the potential on paper, for that to be a really strong group. But again, that, as the whole team, but maybe as much as anybody, any position has a lot of work to do, and it's got to come together and play really well. And because obviously, if that position group's playing really well, it completely changes the whole game. So that would be really exciting for them to develop the way that we would hope.
Lane, do you expect to have Deion Smith on campus when camp starts?
I don't know. Didn't I say earlier I'm not in the expectations? So that got me out of that answer. I don't know.
What are you most looking
WAPT Sports in Jackson. It's a special opportunity to coach with your father for so many years, right? Just tell me how special that experience was to get to do that throughout the decades.
Yeah, that was really unique. Again, this isn't what today's about, but I appreciate that. That really was unique, and something that not too many sons ever would be able to have. So that was really special.
Jackson took some pretty huge steps last year. What is the next step for him as a third-year starter?
I think he really, the steps we would normally say, I think he did late in the year, taking care of the ball and development of the rest of the players around him. And Jackson's always, sometimes as you get to this point, you got to really work on their ego. They're making sure they're a team player and with that position, because that just comes naturally with the ball in your hand all the time. But he's so well grounded that I don't think that's an issue with him. And I said before, he's just a really unique leader that, and I don't know that he ever wants to coach someday. That would be a phenomenal head coach, by the way. He just impacts people around him, but the time he spends with them.
Lane, you guys brought in a lot of guys from other programs that had a lot of success where they were. How has the incorporation process gone from what you've seen so far in terms of them assimilating to your program?
I think they've done well. I think, we had some coaching turnover, but not a lot. I don't know the stat, I should. I was going to research this on the way down here, but I feel like this might be our first year of having all three coordinators returning, in offense, defense, special teams. I think that is a really important part of bringing players in, that there's already some consistency there with the coaching staff. So I think that really helps with the schemes not changing also.
How much of a luxury is that? Not only the coaches coming back, but having your quarterback being a third year when it comes to trust and things like that for you?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, again, I should know this stat, but there was a while there where we went on a run of, between Alabama and FAU and of having first-year starters for a lot of years in a row, all 3 years at Alabama. And so sometimes it's really challenging because the guy starts playing really well, in his first season, then all of a sudden they're gone, because they were, there's a new starter each year. So it's exciting to not have to do that. And like I said, he does a phenomenal job of leading you around and just, pouring into people. And I just saw it on the plane as I was making notes about the speech coming up, and Jackson's just over there with Trey, just asking him, about his week and about where he's going and how he's doing and everything. That's just him.
With all the new